Imagine a world where people never heard a phone ring. Imagine a world where voices never traveled through wires. Imagine a world where distance felt heavier and slower. This is a world without the telephone. A world without the invention that changed how humans speak, work, and live. Today we explore a turning point in human history. A moment when one man's idea connected the planet. But what if that moment never happened? What if Alexander Graham Bell had not invented the telephone? How different would our world be? Alexander Graham Bell was a scientist and inventor. His work shaped communication in ways no one expected. He gave the world the telephone in the year 1876. This single invention changed business, family life, education, and global politics. In this story, we explore 8 key moments from Bell's journey. We look at how his discoveries shaped modern communication. Then we imagine a world where he never created the telephone, a world that might feel lonely and disconnected. Let us begin the story of how one man changed the world with a single device. Fact 1. Bell's early work with sound and speech. Alexander Graham Bell grew up in a family dedicated to the study of sound. His father, Alexander Melville Bell, created a system called visible speech. It helped deaf people understand sounds using symbols. Young Bell learned this system and became fascinated by how the human voice worked. From 1863 to 1870, Bell studied acoustics in Scotland and England. He spent long hours learning how sound waves travel through air. He worked with tuning forks and magnets. He experimented with vibrations and resonance. He dreamed of finding a way to carry human speech through a machine. Bell also taught at schools for the deaf. He worked with children who could not hear. Their challenges inspired him deeply. He wanted to build a device that could help them. This desire opened the door to something bigger than he ever imagined. This early period shaped Bell's mind. It prepared him for the invention that would later change the world. His understanding of sound became the foundation for the telephone. Fact 2. Bell's move to the United States and his experiments with telegraphy. In 1871, Bell moved to the United States. He began teaching at the Boston School for the Deaf. He became known for his skill in helping students speak. But even as he taught, he continued his private experiments. At this time, the telegraph dominated long-distance communication. Messages traveled as electrical pulses across wires. But the telegraph could send only one message at a time. Bell wanted to improve this system. He tried to create a harmonic telegraph that could send multiple messages at once. From 1871 to 1874, Bell performed experiments in Boston. He worked with metal reeds, coils, and batteries. He studied vibrations and magnetic fields. During these experiments, he discovered something important. A vibrating metal reed could send a faint sound through an electrical circuit. This discovery was small but powerful. It told Bell that the human voice might be sent through wires. Many people doubted this idea. They said speech was too complex to travel electrically. But Bell refused to give up. His experiments in Boston were the first steps toward the telephone. These efforts pushed him toward one of the greatest inventions in history. Fact 3. The first successful transmission of speech. This is the moment when history changed. On the 10th of March 1876, Bell was in his laboratory. His assistant, Thomas Watson, was in another room. Bell tested a new device made of a transmitter and a receiver. He spilled acid on his clothes during the test. He shouted, "Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you." To his shock and joy, Watson heard his words through the device. It was the first time in human history that speech traveled across wires. It proved that the human voice could move through an electrical current. This moment marked the birth of the telephone. It was the beginning of a communication revolution. People could now speak across distance. Families could stay connected. Businesses could grow faster. Emergency calls could save lives. This single test changed the world forever. Today, billions of people use devices built on this idea. It all started with one simple sentence in a small room in Boston. Fact 4. The first public demonstrations and worldwide attention. After the first successful transmission, Bell prepared to show his invention to the world. In 1876, he took the telephone to the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia. Scientists, businessmen, and world leaders attended this event. When Bell demonstrated the telephone, people were amazed. They had never heard a voice travel through a machine. The crowd called it magical. Some even called it a miracle. Emperor Dom Pedro II of Brazil tried the device. He listened to Bell's voice and shouted, "My God, it talks!" Bell's demonstration became one of the highlights of the entire exposition. Newspapers around the world reported on the invention. Investors became interested. Governments became curious. The telephone began its journey toward global adoption. By 1877, Bell founded the Bell Telephone Company. It started with only a few dozen telephones, but demand grew quickly. People understood that this invention could change the world. These early demonstrations turned Bell's idea into a global sensation. They transformed his invention from a scientific experiment into a real tool for the public. Fact 5. Expansion of telephone networks. After forming the Bell Telephone Company, the telephone began spreading rapidly. From 1,877 to 1,885, telephone lines connected more cities. Operators managed switchboards. They connected one number to another by hand. At first, only businesses and wealthy families used telephones. But as lines expanded, more people gained access. Cities like New York, Boston, and Montreal became early telephone hubs. Bell's company built long-distance lines. The first important line connected Boston and Providence. More lines followed. Small local networks soon formed larger national systems. By the 1,880 thousands of telephones were in use. This expansion changed daily life. Businesses could operate faster. News could travel quicker. Doctors could receive urgent calls. People could talk across cities instead of sending letters. The telephone network became a backbone of modern society. Bell's vision turned into a national infrastructure. This period marked the rise of connected communication across North America. Fact 6. International growth and the first transcontinental line. As the telephone grew in the United States, the world wanted it too. Bell's invention spread to Europe in the 1,880 seconds. The United Kingdom, France, and Germany built their own networks. Canada expanded its lines. Countries in South America and Asia joined in. During this period, telephone companies faced technical challenges. They needed stronger wires. They needed better insulation. They needed improved switchboards. In 1915, a major achievement arrived. The first transcontinental telephone line was completed in the United States. It connected New York on the East Coast to San Francisco on the West Coast. On the 25th of January 1915, Bell made a call from New York to Thomas Watson in San Francisco. He repeated the historic words, "Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you." Watson laughed and replied that he could not come that far. That call symbolized the power of global communication. The world was getting smaller. Distance felt less powerful. This international expansion transformed the telephone into a global necessity. Fact 7. Influence on emergency services and public safety. By the early 1900s, telephones became important for public safety. Police stations, fire departments, and hospitals used them daily. People could call for help instantly. This saved countless lives. In 1908, the first emergency call system appeared in London. Other cities created their own systems. Operators answered urgent calls and connected people to rescue teams. Before the telephone, people had to run long distances to get help. Fires grew larger. Crimes went unreported. Medical emergencies became disasters. With telephones, response times improved. Cities became safer. Communication became a key part of public service. This impact changed how societies operated. Bell's invention became a tool for survival, not just conversation. It helped build the modern emergency response systems we depend on today. Fact 8. The telephone's role in shaping the digital age. The telephone did not stop with voice calls. It evolved into something much larger. In the 1,940 seconds, automatic dialing replaced manual operators. In the 1,950 seconds, long-distance calls became faster and cheaper. In the 1,960 seconds, satellites carried signals across oceans. In the 1,970 seconds, computer networks used telephone lines to share data. The early internet grew from telephone systems. Modems used phone lines to send digital information. Companies stored data and connected computers through telephone cables. In the 1,980 seconds and 1,990 seconds, mobile phones appeared. These devices were inspired by Bell's original idea. They let people speak anywhere. They started the revolution that led to smartphones. Every text message, every video call, every online meeting, all of them stand on the foundation of Bell's invention. These 8 moments did not just define one inventor, they shaped the future of global communication. Bell's work created the path that led to the digital world we know today. Alexander Graham Bell changed human history. He turned sound into electricity. He turned wires into bridges between people. His invention shaped science, business, and everyday life. It created new industries. It supported public safety. It led to the rise of mobile phones and the internet. Now we ask the final question. If Bell had never invented the telephone, what would our world look like? Families might wait weeks for letters. Businesses might move slower. Emergency help might reach people too late. People might feel more isolated and distant. The internet might arrive decades later. Mobile phones might never exist as we know them. Global communication might depend on telegraph signals and handwritten messages. The world would feel bigger. Travel would matter more. Connections would break more easily. Human progress would slow down. Every idea changes the world. Bell's idea reshaped the destiny of humanity. Imagine if this one never happened.